Love is light that's within me. Shine to the whole world, whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, inside.
Wow.
Inside, yeah. Inside. Inside, bringing hope and make you feel alright. Rainbow, the promise, the future, and life.
Yeah.
Love is light that's within me. Shine to the whole world, whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding. Oh, inside.
You're welcome. I see you. It's a busy day.
Inside, inside, bringing hope and make you feel alright. Rainbow, the promise, the future, and life.
I see you, Lena. Good evening.
Love is light that's within me. Shine to the whole world, whole world.
Sylvia, I see you. You're welcome.
Let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, inside, inside, yeah. Inside,
Okay. Hi, Ken. I see you. Team Agnes, I see you. You're welcome.
make you feel alright.
I trust we are good. I can't believe it's Thursday again. Grace Oko, I see you. Saimia, I see you.
Love is light that's within me. Shine to the whole world. Light, let the dawn
Bethel, you're
of a new
welcome.
day bring
Please let's share the live to our friends. Let's share to our friends, please. Mariam Debbie, I see you. Thanks for joining. Let's share the live. Interesting topic today, as usual.
inside.
Yeah.
Inside, bringing hope and make you feel alright. Rainbow,
Oh, cool, dear. I see you.
promise the future.
Thanks for joining.
Life.
Yeah.
Love is light that's within me. Shine to the whole world, whole world. Light, let the dawn of
Z Milan, I see you. You're welcome.
understanding and love.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, inside.
This song is growing on me.
Inside.
Busumuzi, I hope I pronounced that correctly. You're welcome. Thanks for joining. Thank you. Let's share the live to about 20 people so they can be part of this talk today. Today's marriage and relationships. Marriage, relationship, whichever way you want to put it. Hamo, I see you. Thanks for joining. You're welcome.
Love is light that's within me. Shine to
I see
the
you.
whole
Thank you
world,
for joining.
whole world. Light,
I hope our day is going on great. Francesca, or yeah, I see you. Or Francisca. You're welcome. I see you. Yes, let's share to our friends. Let's invite more friends to be part of the talk today. Hello, 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 everyone. Wherever you're joining from, you are welcome to Insight with FunmiRoyal. Today, a Thursday, the Lord has made. As usual, I will rejoice and be glad in it. A little bit tired, but we will cope because these topics are very important. Helping one another to enjoy our marriages. I mean, it's always the way forward. It's me. I think it's me Sohe. I see you. Thanks for joining. Hello, is it Francisca? Francisca, I think. Thanks for joining. Hello, how are you? I trust your day has been good so far. Let me know what time you're in right now over there. This is 7:06 UK time, and I know everybody joining from various parts of the world, different times, what have you. Yes, I'm going to be inviting people when I finish my talk, so that we can discuss further the topic. But I always like to give this talk, to put perspectives out there. And of course, we can bring other perspectives to it as well. Like whatever topic we bring, one person cannot cover it all. And that's why we're here to learn from one another. We're here to reflect on these talks, and whichever way is affecting our lives, or maybe you're looking for solutions. There's always solutions here, from myself, from people. And I love to hear other people's perspective about the topic, because, everybody's experiences are different. So, same time in London. All right. Thank you, Francisca. Thank you so much. I hope you're good. You might want to get a cup of tea or something, just to relax and, enjoy the talk. And then as I speak, you look at what perspective you want to bring to it. Because at the end of my talk, that is what we'll do. We'll discuss it, and people bring their submissions. Last week was phenomenal. I learned a lot. People sharing their real life experiences and helping other people as well. God is real. Thanks for joining. I hope your day is going great. Emmy love. Oh dear. How are you? I hope today has been good, or this week so far. Thank you so much for joining Insight with FunmiRoyal this evening, this Thursday evening. And I'm grateful to God. I'm always grateful to God, because for each day we sleep and wake up, we ought to be grateful. We ought to be thankful, because it's not of our own doing. Some will say, oh, my alarm woke me up at 6 a.m. Is it really your alarm that woke you up? Emmy love, your week is going well. How was your day? My day has been pretty busy, and you can see I'm still here. If I'm dozing off, guys, I don't know how you're going to wake me up now. Just kidding. But my day has been good so far. I cannot complain. We thank God. Thank you so much for joining. So maybe later, Emmy love, I might have a word with you, because I might be needing one or two moderators to join more on my live. So think about it. Maybe you're interested, because I see you're a regular and I love your contributions as well. Francesca, thank you so much for liking the live. Please give me a thumbs up if you can see the topic on the screen. I tried to write the proper word, but TikTok is not allowing me. So I think maybe because of the word conflict, I don't know. So I had to coin that out. So at least if you can read, if it makes sense. So this one allowed me to post it there. So I'm like, okay, at least people might just understand. So let's see. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Emmy love. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay. So it's conflicts. So I might have to reduce how many times I say that word because of the topic. It's a crucial one we need to talk about, because this happens. Yeah, thank you so much, Francesca. I can see it. Thank you. It happens almost in every home, in every marriage. How you constructively handle it now is a different thing. Oh, thank you so much for the heart, me, Emmy. God bless you. Let's invite people, because I know these are issues that concerns you, concerns me. You might feel, oh, this is not my problem, but a neighbor might be going through this, and you can just tell them, FunmiRoyal is on right now. I think you should listen to this talk. So please, let's share the live to as many people as possible to be part of this talk today. And thank you so much for liking the live. Let's share it to our friends, at least 20 people. They might just be able to join and learn from the talk as well. So I'm going to be going straight into the talk, and let's, kind of reflect. Maybe ideas can come to your mind that I may not mention today, and you can also share that, so that we can increase our knowledge capacity as well, because no knowledge is lost, really. So my talk for today. So guys, I believe you can see the topic on there, because I have to limit how many times I pronounce that word conflicts, if you get me. I don't want to be shut out, so that we can enjoy the topic today. So today we're going to explore this topic. Is both challenging and is crucial in the context of intimate relationship, which is marriage. Sometimes when I say relationship, it varies, because my focus really is marriage relationships. But I found out that, well, people are into courtship, getting ready to get married. So this can also be beneficial to them. And if you're still very young, you're thinking, oh, marriage is still many, many, many years away, this is your tutorial. So please sit down and listen as well. And be blessed I just left a Christian hangout to join my live, and they were talking about the causes of divorce, and see people talking away so many causes. And some are there, the young couples, some are old couples, some are like thinking about marriage as well, those kind of people you have there listening. And everybody always, are blessed at the end of that talk, at the end of the hangout. It's lovely when we talk about these issues, because sometimes we tend to shy away from them. If I asked you now, when was the last time you sat with your partner, Ola is saying hi to Francesca, and talked about conflicts, maybe past ones, or the one you're going through right now, because some people might not even want to have it. Blessed, thank you so much for being a blessing. Tony, I see you. So let's go into that. So it's a very crucial topic. It's a very challenging one when we're looking at it in terms of intimate relationship, in terms of marriage. So what is conflict? Conflict is a natural part of any relationship. Hear me? It is natural, because it will happen over and over and over again. So it's a natural thing that would happen, and marriages are no exception. So of course you can have conflicts in work, with a friend, with a family member, but we're talking about marriage this time around. Marriage is not exempted from that. So understanding the causes, the effects, and resolution strategies for marital conflicts can help couples navigate these challenges and build stronger, healthier relationships. And if you're one that really pays close attention, you find out that when I give this talk, there's some key points that is always reoccurring in every of the talk, because we're talking about marriage relationships here, and every aspect of it, this topic, this point always comes up, and I'll remind you when I get there. So I want us to understand what I mean by marital conflicts to start with. So conflicts in marriage arises where there are disagreements or clashes between partners. Ida, thanks for joining. So these conflicts can be about a wide range of issues, including but not limited to finances, because people feel when couples are fighting is money. Not always. I beg to differ. Not always. Parenting. Can you imagine? This is how I'm going to bring my child up. Hey, this is how you want to bring your child up. And then there's conflict. I want to do it this way. You want to parent that way. I want to parent that way. And then we're at loggerheads and we're fighting and what have you. So again, that's part of it. Communication styles always comes up. Always. Personal habits. You might not like, I'm fine, Tony. How are you? I trust you're keeping well. Hope your Thursday and the week is going on great. So, personal habits can bring conflicts, and your values, even if you think you had the same values when you got together, over time you're growing, you're becoming your person, they're becoming their person, and you find out that this thing is like your values are changed, they've changed over the years, and you find out that if care is not taken, it can create conflict. So while conflict is inevitable, how couples manage and resolve these conflicts can significantly impact the health and longevity of their relationship. If you're the one that kind of resolves things, constructively, objectively, openly, honestly, of course you have a long lasting marriage. I mean, apart from other issues as well. So what are the common causes of marital conflict? I bet if I ask you to type in there now, you probably mention one or two that I've mentioned as well. Again, this always comes up because in a marriage relationship you have to always communicate. Communication, without that, I mean, there's nothing really. There is no couple without communication. So imagine when it's not like two robots living in a house, you have to talk. Whether in the good times, bad times, whether you're angry, or you have to just talk. So communication issues, misunderstandings, poor listening skills, and differences in communication styles can lead to conflicts. When partners feel unheard or misunderstood, resentment can build in, and if it's not dealt with in time, resentment will turn to hatred. And that's when you see that it's like they've grown apart. Everybody wants to go their separate ways to have peace of mind or to be happy. But we're not going to get there, guys, are we? No. So we have to pay attention to what our spouses are saying. Communication. You cannot afford not to communicate. You might give each other space. You might take time out or whatever. You're still coming back to sit and talk. I'm telling you. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Amy Love. So you cannot do without communication in that marriage. And this is one of the causes of conflicts in a marriage. Then the second one, which I bet everybody's dying to hear, is the financial stress. Hi, sometime your wife to dear mother house and know the time to come home. I'm not sure I understand that. Yeah, communication is key. That's true. So the second one I'm going to mention is financial stress. Money is a common source of tension in marriages. Whether we believe it or not, it does cause conflict. Disagreements about spending, saving, financial priorities can cause significant strain. And to be honest with you, if you're not both on board on how you want to manage your finances, it will create problems. Yes, thank you, Emilo, for reiterating that. It will create problems. Somebody is saving, the other one is spending. They want to do projects, their money is gone. Or one just can't, some people, it's like they've got itchy fingers. They just have to spend. And what they're buying is not like it's priority or something. They just want to spend that money. The moment they know there's money there, we just must spend it. It's a very bad habit. And it can always bring conflicts in a marriage relationship. So this has to be addressed as well. So you need to prioritize. So I'm just going steadily today. I'm looking at the causes of marital conflict. I've talked about communication. I've talked about financial stress. The third one, which I mentioned briefly in my opening, is the parenting differences. This thing it can destroy a marriage, especially when the children have grown to a level. Mommy says this, daddy says that, and the child is confused. Hey, conflict is just waiting around in the corner. So parenting differences, couples often have different parenting philosophies and approaches, which can lead to conflict over child rearing practices and discipline. We tend to forget that because, two have become one. We think, oh, we're just, going to be like that forever. Forgetting that your upbringing is different from your spouse's upbringing. The things that he was allowed to do whilst growing up, maybe in your own household, you were not allowed to do them. But this is what they've grown with. This is life for them. And anything contrary to that, they will fight it. So there will be conflicts. And that's why we need to communicate to reach a compromise and then know how we're going to parent the children together. Exactly. You have to agree. What do we allow for our children? What do we not allow for our children? Because if we don't have the same book we're looking at, the same book we're reading from, it's going to create conflict. A husband wants to do it this way, the wife wants to do it that way, and the child even they have their own way. So you can imagine the chaos in that home. So parenting differences can also cause marital conflict. The number 4 thing I'm going to say is household responsibilities. This one's, little conflicts here and there, and over time, if not constructively dealt with, becomes a big thing, and you find out that they're always at each other's throat and all of that. So unequal distribution of household chores and responsibilities can lead to feeling of unfairness and resentment. I think I was at a live and somebody was saying, it was even a man that was saying it, that can you imagine? You're saying, okay, the women now they're more advanced, now they're progressing in the society and all that. The woman will go to work, the husband goes to work 8 hours a day, the woman will go to work 8 hours a day. They come back about the same time. She has to pull her shoes, roll up her sleeves, get into the kitchen and prepare dinner for herself, for him, for the children if you have children. And she's also worked the same number of hours that day, don't forget. And then she's bringing home, or maybe if not the same amount of wages or whatever, and then the man is back home, same time, sitting there, putting on the TV and watching the TV. And it's like, oh dear, are you nearly done? Oh my goodness. You can't even help, even if you don't know how to cook as a man. I'm not being gender biased here, but this is just our reality. Even if you cannot cook, you can be there to support. Bring her knife, help her chop the onion, help her boil the rice or wash it or something. Together do that, because she's tired. You are tired as well. So you cannot just put all of that on this woman. She's going to do 40 hours a week. You've gone to do 45 hours a week. Okay, I'm just giving that to you guys. But when it comes to household chores, she will cook, do the laundries, clean the house and all of that, even with a full-time job. Please, guys, we need help. Because if this woman should break down one time, I don't know the chaos is gonna bring about. But if you're the type that you're always helping your wife here and there, learning to maybe do the laundries or something while she's cooking, you're helping to do the laundry, there will be less conflicts in that home. And trust me, we need to share these responsibilities equally. If you want your wife to work equally, then you have to share every other responsibilities almost equally. And that is being fair, and that will not create resentment. Imagine both of you getting home about the same time and your husband say, my dear, just go and sit down because I know you're tired. I will cook for us tonight. Such a relief. So anyway, I'm going to leave that there. So another point I'm going to make is personal habits and preferences. So differences in your personal habits, your lifestyle choices and preferences can be a source of ongoing friction. Personal habits. I like it when I enter my house, I go straight to my kitchen, I can get my cup of tea and do what? Imagine I get there are like 10 mugs there, and I'm like, there is not a single one for me to use. Oh my goodness, especially when they're children or maybe young adults or whatever in their house, because I'm talking from experience now. And you find out that, oh my goodness, everybody's just dumping everything for you to come and wash and clean and all of that. So your personal habits is like, nobody respects my personal habits in this house. You just want us to leave everything like that and it's all chaos and all of that. No, even your lifestyle choices might just be different at some point. You find out that fine, you've grown on each other, but now your lifestyle choices are kind of different. You want to do this or you enjoy doing this now, and your spouse they're not enjoying that anymore. And then that can create conflict, and then be like, what's wrong with you? Every time I want us to do this, you say no, you're not interested, but we used to do this before, and all that. So if we don't communicate to let our spouse understand that, look, I'm not going to deny it. Once upon a time, I used to enjoy doing this, but right now, honestly, I don't even see me doing this. Then you can come together, talk about it, and find other things you can do together, other activities you can do together, so that that conflict will reduce. There won't be any sort of friction because you're speaking the same language. So another one I'm going to mention, we're talking about causes of marital conflict, is external stressors. This one I briefly talked about in my hangout before coming here. Factors such as work-related stress, health issues, and extended, that one capital letter, extended family. Extended, I'm not talking about your nuclear family, I'm talking about extended family dynamics can contribute to marital conflict. Imagine you guys, they leave you for like a year or two to do your honeymoon, get to know each other and all of that. And then after 2 years, knock on the door, Coco, this is your in-law. We have come to stay, to greet you, to see you're okay and all. Okay, no worries, fair enough. And they come in. And dinner time, at dinner time, you serve your husband, serve everybody, and they're looking, hey, so you mean you're giving our son 2 protein, whatever, to eat, and you're taking 3. Say, but he doesn't like chicken. That's why I've not put chicken in his head. So can't you give him two of this and 1 of that and that? They will start poke-nosing inside your affair. External family, especially in-laws, outlaws, all those laws around. Don't get me wrong, I've got mine. I love them to bits, but there should be boundaries. And if you, husband and wife, do not put that boundary in place, they will stress you. They will stress your wife, they will stress your husband. Trust me, they will tell you it's all about love. We love you, that's why we're doing what we're doing. But thank you. Thank you for the love. I know you love me. Please come and be going to your house. Let me have peace in my home. I'm telling you, in-law wahalas. Hey. And sometimes it could be besties who don't know their place. Like your friend is now married. For the fact that you're not yet married, you need to respect that new phase your friend is going through. You don't just barge into the house. And even if you're, that close to both of them, now they have their matrimonial bedroom. You don't just barge in like once upon a time when the wife or the husband was single. You just barge in, oh boy, what's happening there? Now you need to respect that boundary. You can't just enter and just barge into their bedroom like that. You need to respect that. You need to put some boundaries for yourself and for your friends, okay, I don't marry now. Some things got to change. Sit down with your friends and talk about it. It's not anything. And if you're going to bring that relationship to that extent of bringing them to your bedroom, at least there'll still be some set of boundaries because your husband might be in there. You wouldn't want to do that. If your husband is away, you have to be in the room, not that they just barge in, sit and sleep, without you even being there. So there has to be some boundaries that need to be placed with friends, with extended family, in-laws, all of that. And sometimes the one I mentioned that we really shy away from talking about is the health issues. You married each other, you both are healthy. Oh, thank you so much, Finzo. I thank you. I love it, so it's nice. Health issues, health challenges. Maybe you're trying for a child after 2-3 years and you find out that nothing is forthcoming, and then you decide to go to the doctors to check, are we okay to have babies? And the doctor you have to come back for another test, and then you'll be wondering, and then they now discover one of you, and I'm gonna say whether man or woman, it could be anyone really, and they say, oh, this has happened to your body, it's gonna be hard to conceive, and then they're like, oh, okay, at least we can still conceive and all. I've heard of cases, people waiting for 15 years, 17 years to get one child, and it's such a stressful thing for the couple to be going through. So now imagine the in-law saying, when are you going to have our baby? Oh, we want our baby. They just talk without empathy. Do you know what this couple are going through? And now you're adding your own. If your wife cannot give you a child, go and get another one. How do you know she's the one that's got the problem? What if it's your son that has the problem? They don't think to all this, and they just start pointing, accusing fingers and what have you. So the health challenge can bring conflict, because no matter the patience you have and somebody is fueling conflicts there, one day you will flip and just say, after all, so person got married about the same time with us. They have 3 children. We don't even have one. And then you find out that you're bickering, fighting each other, arguing, and if care is not taken, resentment will start coming in. Please, I know it's a challenging time, but fighting each other or going into conflict all the time is not the solution either. So let's be mindful. When health challenges kicks in, we need to show empathy. We need to understand, because sometimes, the doctors will tell you both of you are okay. They will tell you nothing is wrong with you, the wife or the husband. But then 10 years is gone, no child. Where do we put that as well? So we need to be careful, because conflicts may just arise because of that challenge you're facing, and of course create stress. So there's so many others, but I'm going to limit it there because of time, because I want to bring us on as soon as possible so we can talk about this. Like I said, maybe there's some that I haven't mentioned. You can also mention that as well. Jane, I see you. So the impact of unresolved conflict, because conflict is there. If you don't resolve it, there's going to be impact on that marriage, on that relationship. Unresolved conflicts can have serious repercussions on a marriage, and this include emotional distance. Marriage is not meant for emotional distancing. No. Remember the times of COVID, 6 feet apart or 2 feet or how many feet apart? No. In a marriage relationship, you can't do that. Sleep on the same bed, come rain, come sunshine, come ugly, come bad, whatever the situation, you will sleep on the same bed. If you like, kick me or face north, I face south, we will sleep on that bed. So there are repercussions when we don't resolve that conflict as soon as possible and constructively as possible. So emotional distance, persistent unresolved conflict can lead to emotional withdrawal from either spouse, reducing intimacy and connection between partners. So if you don't resolve that, you find out that at night this person is still upset. They go to sleep and face the north, like I said, and the husband comes and sees, or the wife comes and sees, okay, me too, I'll face the south or east or west or whichever one. So it will create a wedge if that conflict is not resolved. So we need to be mindful so that we don't lose that emotional connection. That is one of the key points of building that healthy relationship with our husbands, with our wives. Then again, increased stress. If you don't resolve it, everybody gets stressed. Even the children, if there are children in that home, they will get stressed because they will feel from you. They feed off of you, your energy. When you're happy, your children are happy. When you're sad, it's more or less the same thing, really. So increased stress, chronic conflict increases stress levels. Some people start having high blood pressure. Some insomnia because they can't sleep, they're stressed, Some even anxiety. Some might even go into depression because they can't resolve it and they're sad, they're by themselves and they're wallowing in that sadness and that what have you, and they're just going to that tangent on the negative side and all sorts is just taking over. So we need to be mindful so that our stress level will not increase, because if it does, it can negatively affect both partners' mental and physical health. It can. So not just one person, because like I said, marriage involves 2 people and it takes 2 to tango. So whatever it is, if you're hearing me right now on Insight, please, if it's just go back. If you don't know what to say, just go and hug your spouse right now and hug them. You don't have to say anything. Do the 5-minute hug and let's see how far we go with that. And then maybe everybody's calmer to sit and talk about what is wrong, what's going on. Again, what can happen when we have unresolved conflict? The impact is it can erode the trust we have for one another, because it's like there's this conflict not resolved. Can I trust this person? Right now, I don't think I can trust them because they're not seeing things from my angle, or because of so many reasons. We always have excuses. I'm telling you, if you count a million, you will see a million excuses to give, So repeated conflicts especially those involving betrayal or dishonesty, can erode trust from that relationship, and that makes it difficult to maintain a strong supportive relationship, because you're like, oh, I can't imagine it. It's just been how long? You did this and we talked about it and I had to find him, I had to forgive you, we'll move on, and now we're back here again. How can I find it hard to trust you again? All sort of, will come. And it will take years and years to rebuild that trust. Trust you have, it takes years to build it to start with, and then to break it is just, in fact, in a second, you can break that trust. But to rebuild it again, it would take a lot of time, depending on what the conflict is about, depending on what the situation is about. So we need to be careful, because in a marriage setting, really, once that trust is broken, it just takes the grace of God for you to have the same trust, level of trust for your spouse. I'm not saying it can happen, it can, but it will take time. So let's be mindful that this conflict, especially when it has to do with trust, we quickly sit down and iron things out so it doesn't expand more than necessary. Then again, impact on the children. Like I said, if there are children involved in that home, it's going to impact them as well when there's conflict. Children are often affected by their parents' conflict, and that's just the truth. Even a toddler would stare. If you're in a conflict with your spouse and you shout a lot, that child might just run away from you when you want to carry them. So even toddlers are quite sensitive when it comes to conflicts in a home. So let's be mindful, let alone children that can speak. Sometimes they might be, afraid to speak. But if you ask the children, they will tell you things you're not ready to hear, I'm telling you. So let's be careful so that we don't impact on the children when we're having conflict. I know it's easier said than done, but it can be done, or we do it discreetly, I don't know, whichever way that works, such that it doesn't have such impact on the children. Then exposure to frequent arguments and tension can lead to emotional and behavioral issues in children. I've had to work with some children who, after school, sometimes they don't want to go home because there's conflict at home. They feel like home is not peaceful anymore and they don't want to go home. Sometimes it takes a lot for them to open up to say that to you. And that's why I'm saying that you might think these children are little, they don't understand what's going on, they don't know, but they're quite sensitive, especially emotionally for the children. They have this, I don't know if it's antenna for it, or I don't know the word to put exactly. Some even have mental breakdown. Some children will just stop talking altogether. It can bring about a lot of issues, behavioral issues in the children, emotional issues with the children. They go to school, they're just clingy to their teachers. They don't want to sit in the class because they just feel at home. Parents are at each other and they don't want to hold them or hug them and things like that. So these children can start developing issues, and if it's not dealt with, it can grow into something even bigger, more toxic, and we don't want that. We don't want that for our spouse, let alone our children. So let's be mindful. So I'll leave that there. Then again, effective conflict resolution strategies. I will mention some, so I'll be expecting you to mention others that readily is not coming to me. So, effective conflict resolution. I hope you guys are ready. You can send an invite and let's talk about this some more. Conflict in marriage, what causes it? What are the effects of it? And how can we resolve things constructively and peacefully, for our marriages to work so that we can enjoy our marriages? Yes, emotional blockage. You just find out the child is cold all the time, they're angry all the time, or they're upset all the time just because of what is going on at home. So we need to be careful with that as well. Yes, you're welcome. If you're just joining, Ahmad, I see you. Thanks for joining. Let's share to our friends. The talk is yet to be over. Still one or two things we'll talk about, and I want to hear from you. I want to learn from you as well. Let's rub minds together to help each other, and especially those on the FY page. So Open communication is, like I say, whatever the conflict is, you still have to sit and talk about it. Whether in 10 years' time, in 5 months' time, or in 2 weeks' time, you still have to sit and talk about it. So this is how we can resolve conflicts in our marriages. Open communication, like I said, open, not close. When you're talking about that open, you have to really be open and objective. Yes. So encourage open, honest, and respectful communication. Because I know sometimes when conflicts, especially when there's arguments left, right, back and forth, before you know, you start cursing. Before you know, you start using those words you're not meant to use just because you're angry. There's a conflict on ground, but then you don't have to add to it. So be honest in your conversation. Be respectful in your conversation. Partners should feel safe to express their feelings and concerns without fear of judgment or retaliation. Not that you're waiting to pound on me. You haven't even heard what I've said. Let me not be the one that will sit down to want to talk with you and I'm scared to open my mouth to speak just because the way you will react or the things you will say back at me. That is not healthy at all. We're not supposed to judge one another. We're supposed to, exactly, don't blame your partner, please. Hear each other out. There's something called compromise. And that's where we can resolve conflicts, because sometimes you might not just be able to have your way all the time. If you're the type that's always having your way, one day your spouse will retaliate and they will not have it. And then that conflict is going to be on a big level. We don't want that. So when I give this talk, my saying is, let us self-reflect. Even as I'm speaking, I'm also self-reflecting. And sometimes for me too, one or two things comes to mind, which I probably will have to speak to my spouse about later on. So nobody's perfect. There's no perfect relationship. That you will not go through conflict, it's a big lie. So I'm not here to lie to anyone. But we can do better when these conflicts come. Feel free and safe to express your feelings, your concerns without being afraid, without being being judgmental. So we need to have an open communication with one another to resolving that conflict. Another one that is so what's the word now? It's a bit rare because everybody wants to put in their word. Active listening. Active listening. If you can actively listen to one another, you'll find out that we will resolve conflicts quickly, easily. But because we're not hearing our partner, they're talking, we're talking, we're not having it. And if you sit down to ask, what did they just say? Because you're talking back, you did not even hear what they were saying. And what they were saying actually was making sense. But because you are not listening, I'm not even just saying listen alone. Active listening, as in you're really interested in what they have to say, so you can help your own mindset about things. They might just be right and they might just be wrong. You can't tell when you're not actively listening. Well, Zizi, you're welcome. When you actively listen to one another, it goes a long way. Okay, so let's practice active listening, where each partner fully engages in listening to others' perspective, acknowledging their feelings and their viewpoints. Even if you're going to have difference of viewpoints or opinion, hear them out and say, oh, I heard you said this and that, but this is what I am trying to say. Both of you will reason together, and then reach a compromise and everybody's happy. Well, maybe half happy, I don't know. So we need to actively listen. Don't just listen because you want to retaliate. No, listen and hear them. If you have to pause for a minute or two to digest what they're saying, please leave that space so that conflicts will not arise. So listen to their viewpoints, listen to what they're trying to share with you, and then you can think about it and then give your perspective to it. Case closed. Again, we need to seek compromise. I've been saying that over and over again. If you're not ready to compromise, I don't know how you intend to resolve some conflicts. So you need to find common grounds and work towards mutually accepting solutions. Compromise is essential for resolving conflicts without resentment, because another issue would come that might almost lead to another conflict, and then you remember how you resolved the last one, so you won't even give room for conflict at all. So you just sit down from the onset and talk about it before it escalates into a conflict. So we learn from resolving conflicts constructively, let me put it that way. So it's essential to do this without resentment, because it's not all the time we're going to agree on the same thing. And that shouldn't mean because you're not agreeing with me, I resent you. No, we're not children, are we? No. So we need to learn to manage emotions as well. When our spouses are not seeing our perspective to things, when they don't agree with our solutions or what have you. So keep emotions in check during conflict. Take breaks. It's not a crime because you don't want things to over-escalate. Take breaks if needed or if necessary to cool down and approach the discussion with a calm and rational mindset. So that's why sometimes it might take a day or two. Ouch. Oh, baby, somebody's talking about FunmiRoyal somewhere in my ear. It's a bit itchy. So take time when you're much calmer, when you know you're ready to listen. Yeah, me time. Yeah, tell your spouse, you know what? I don't want this conflict to escalate more than it is. So I'm going to take a me time and we can talk about this another time. In the meantime, everything stays as it is. Faithful, thanks for joining. So if you need a me time, if you need that space or break, by all means take it, because it's necessary when you can learn to manage your emotions. And if you're still struggling to managing your emotions, take that break. It's very crucial. Then again, focus on the issue, not the person. I don't know if you understand that. Focus on the issue, not the person, because there's something that has happened that has brought about this conflict. It's not your spouse as such, but the both of you have to sit and agree to a solution. And if your spouse brings one solution and you bring the other solution, don't start fighting each other, because it's not about even the two of you, it's about that issue. So you still have to keep talking until you reach an agreement, until you reach a compromise. So don't fight your spouse. I always say this here. Fight the problem together. Fight that issue together, not each other. Because if you sit down and think about it, this issue, how did it come about? If it's not a mistake you've made, or if it's not something you've done, if it's, an issue both of you had to face, you know that you're facing it together. So attack the problem, not the person. Attack what has caused it, or attack how it came about, not the other person. Do it together. Yes, love, they need to do it together. Avoid blame and personal attacks. Concentrate on finding solution to the specific issue at hand. So that energy you're using to go back and forth, use it to find solution, not fight each other. It's very important. Don't fight each other. It's very crucial. Fight the issue, fight the problem, fight that situation, not one another, because you need your joint effort to make that issue go away. Yes, so focus on the issue, not the person. And again, I'll mention one more, which is seek professional help, because there's some conflicts that that's why I'm a counselor. I counsel couples, as well as single individuals. And you just find out sometimes you hear some things and you just know straight away that they left things unresolved because they just want to both have their ways. So if it's too much and it's leading to words and feelings and emotions that you're not planning to have, and it's getting even toxic, because some conflicts are like that, you may have to seek professional help. And please, guys, I will always say there is nothing shameful about seeking therapy, about seeking counseling. So if conflicts become overwhelming or unmanageable, seeking the help of a marriage counselor or a therapist can provide valuable tools and guidance for resolution. And you find out that you learn more than you bargain for, When other conflicts come, you can use the same tool to tackle that conflict instead of one another. So it's always beneficial, very beneficial, when we seek professional help when we have unresolved conflicts, especially the toxic one. Oh my goodness, that one can lead to divorce sometimes if care is not taken. So those are the ones I'm going to give. I know there's still so much more. That's why I'm going to wait to hear from you shortly. Hey. Thank you guys for joining. No stress, I see you. Yeah, just to take a short break. Shine to the whole world. So I'm going to another aspect of this topic, as you can see up there, which is building a conflict resilient marriage. With God, all things are possible. I know that if you put your mind to it, your spouse put their mind to it, you find out that you have a conflict resilient marriage. No matter that conflict that comes, you've built over time this resilience to fight that issue, to fight that conflict, to deal with it. Thank you so much for joining. I see you, Super 234. So strengthen emotional connection between the two of you. So we need to invest time and effort in building a strong emotional bond. Regularly engage in activities that will foster intimacy and connection. If you have that bond, it's going to be hard to have conflicts with one another. In fact, conflicts will come, you easily see it and tackle it together. It will not even be called a conflict because you have that emotional connection. You know, sometimes as I say, sometimes couples will finish their sentences for one another. Sometimes you feel, when you look at your spouse, you can read their mind more. It feels like you can read their mind. You know what they're thinking, and then by the time both of you say exactly what I was thinking, exactly, because you have built that connection, that strong connection with your spouse. So that can help you build a conflict resilient marriage, and also develop conflict resolution skills. These are things, if you go online, you can do research about it. How do you resolve conflict between a husband and wife or what have you? You can go on YouTube and watch videos. You can invest in that as well. So develop conflict resolution skills, because it's always needed. It could be even needed at work, with a friend, with a family member as well. So learn and practice effective conflict resolution skills. Very important. Couples can benefit from workshops, books, and counseling focused on communication and conflict management. If you go online now and type conflict management, you will see more than enough. So let's invest in that, our time as well, so that when those conflicts come, we readily know what to do. We have the tool to handle that. Again, prioritize mutual respect. When you know that disrespect is no in this relationship, when conflict comes, no matter how angry or upset you are, you don't disrespect one another. Rather, zip it, don't even say a word. Riga, thanks for joining. So, prioritize that. No matter what, I don't disrespect you, you don't disrespect me. Because respect is fundamental in any relationship, no matter, apart from a marriage setup, Ensure that both partners feels valued and respected, even during disagreements. You can disagree, don't call me names. You can disagree with me, don't bring me down. Do you understand? So it's a practice, from time to time you do this. Some spouse, they get so angry, and they start calling you names, or they start saying things, and you'll be wondering, is this the same person I got married to? But when they're angry, it's like a different person altogether. We need to have self-control. So let's be respectful. Let's put that at the back of our mind, that no matter what, no matter how we go about sorting this disagreement or whatever, we will be respectful. And again, let's establish healthy boundaries. It's very important. Set clear boundaries that protect each partner's individuality and personal space, while fostering a sense of togetherness. For the fact that two of you have become one, I'm still a person of my own. You are still a person of your own. Don't let that, rub me off. Like Emmy said, me time. I want to have me time. And you're like, why? Why should you have me time? No, it's needed. Because we need to kind of refreshen our mind and everything to come back into that space so that we'll have less conflict, less disagreement, if you get me. So healthy boundaries. When your spouse says, you know what, I need space right now, respect that. Let them have the space. They're not going anywhere. They just needed that space at that time to cope with things. So let's respect that and let's not add more. Say, what do you need space for? Oh, am I talking to them? And then you escalate it to, oh, geez, let's pipe down a bit. Yeah, please, I'm begging. So boundaries, let's respect it. Then let's practice forgiveness, because like I said, today might be your day, tomorrow might be your own day as well. So we need to practice forgiveness. Be willing to forgive and let go of past grievances so that you can resolve today's conflict. Don't start bringing up the past conflict, and then you bring it and it expands more than necessary. Let the past be in the past, okay? Holding on to grudges only prolongs conflict and hinders the resolution. And that's just, how that is. So ready to forgive. On your mark, set, go. Before you even offend me, I'm forgiving you. Because I don't even see, my heart is for love. Oh. Anything that will stress me, you just see me in my corner. I don't want no stress. Don't stress me and I don't stress you. But when something now comes to stress us, let us not stress each other. Let us face that thing stressing us, if you get me. So practice forgiveness. We have to learn to forgive one another, because we are going to offend one another until death do us part, until Christ comes, or until the world ends. So have that open, forgiving heart already, that whatever my spouse do, of course I'm going to be upset, of course I'm going to be pained, of course I feel like not just being around them. I mean, those feelings are legit, it's okay, but there's only so long you can keep at that. At some point in time, you still have to come and forgive them. It's hard to forget, as they say, and over time, they say time heals. So even if you can't forget, you have to learn to forgive, because you're still going to be in the same space with them and you really want to enjoy that space as well. So the offender and the offendee will still have to cohabit. So please, let's have a forgiving heart. Forgive one another. When we offend one another, please don't be a repeat offender, a repeat offender. We don't want that, please. So let's be mindful. Let's look after each other in that relationship, and less conflict. Whatever comes our way, let's fight it together, not ourselves. So in conclusion, I'm going to say conflicts in marriage are inevitable, but they do not have to be destructive. They do not have to be destructive, guys. Juliet, I see you. So by understanding the common causes of conflict, recognizing the impact of unresolved issues, and employing effective resolution strategies, couples can navigate differences, their disagreements, their conflicts in a way that will strengthen that relationship. Imagine that big conflict, and you sit down, talk about it, look at ways, strategies to cope and all of that, and you overcome that thing, you face it head on. No matter how long it took, you did it. That will strengthen your relationship, and you tell your spouse, you know what? With you on by my side, I think we can overcome anything. And that's how it's meant to be. We're meant to enjoy our relationship. I keep saying that I'm meant to enjoy my relationship. Whether I'm enjoying it, I need to check myself. Maybe there's something I'm not doing, or something I'm overdoing, or either way, your spouse as well. Everybody needs to self-reflect. If we're not getting what we desire from this marriage, then check, what are we not putting in? So it will come, conflicts will come, but let's learn to do it strategically, without disrespect. This can only strengthen our relationship. So remember, a healthy marriage is not one devoid of conflict, because it will come, but one where conflicts are handled with respect, empathy, and commitment to finding a common ground. Guys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, we have to learn to compromise in a marriage relationship. Hey, That I cannot overemphasize. You need to learn how to compromise. You have to meet each other halfway. Otherwise, there'll be conflict upon conflict upon conflict, and we know the end of that kind of a relationship. So, through open communication, mutual respect, and a willingness to work together, couples can overcome challenges and build resilient, loving partnership. Both of them will enjoy it. And if they don't know how to be respectful and do all of that, they will both not enjoy it. But we want to enjoy our marriages, I believe. So this is where I'm going to stop today. Oh, wow, I didn't think it would be this long. But, again, I don't know why I have to keep identifying. I'm not a robot. At least you can see I'm moving and talking. So, thank you, TikTok. Anyways, I'm still here live and direct. That is my talk for today. I hope it's, helped someone out there. It's giving you something to think about in case you're going through a conflict right now with your spouse. Please don't let it be at the end of you guys. You can always, resolve it amicably. And like I said, if it's overwhelming for both of you, seek professional help. And that always helps as well. So I would always bring my question, and then we can come, you can send an invite. I'm going to see who is there to bring them up. Let's talk about this. So do couples need to compromise in order to resolve a conflict? Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Amy. That's the whole idea. So I can't wait to learn from you as well. So do couples need to compromise in order to resolve a conflict? That's the number one question. And the other question I have is, can unresolved conflict lead to separation or divorce? I want to hear from us. Yeah. Yes, guys, please send an invite. Oh, thank you so much, Amy. Thank you for the support. At least I know.
You're welcome. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. And you? How are you doing?
Good. We thank God. We cannot complain. I'm grateful to be alive. It's more than enough for me to thank God for. So
Yeah, that's all that matters. Being grateful and thankful.
yes, indeed. So you're welcome, manager. I see you, Jane Bond. Jane Bond. That's all I can see. I see a K, but I'm not sure what the K is. Thank you so much for joining. So I'm going to start with you, Amy, today. So I don't know which angle you want to bring.
Do I have answers to your question?
Oh, you do. Maybe you'll be the one to answer my puzzle today. I don't know if you were here last Thursday.
No, I wasn't here last Thursday, but I was here last Tuesday.
So yeah, when you finish your submission, I'm gonna give my puzzle, and then we'll carry on with our talk, and then give people time to think about it. Maybe they might know the answer. I don't know. We'll see. So I don't know what your take is on the topic: conflicts in marriage relationships. So off you go.
So your question is what if
So the
conflict
first
in a
question
marriage?
is, do couples need to compromise in order to resolve a conflict?
That's a strong question. If couples needs to, for me, I would say it depends on the kind of relationship. Because being in a courtship or just a normal boyfriend and girlfriend and being in marriage is
Marriage.
marriage. Yeah, that's why I said it depends on the kind of relationship. So if it's marriage, I think couples needs to compromise so it doesn't lead to separation. Like they need to understand each other, explain things clearly so it's not repeating itself again, and try to talk to each other in a well respectful manner.
Yeah.
So I think maybe other people might be different. So I think sometimes, but not always, because sometimes it's also not good. Yeah.
That's true. Thank you. You're welcome. Do you want to run my time the second one? Or you can, it doesn't have to be you answering the questions that I have. It's just for me to, open the floor with. So you might have other things you want to say, maybe the effects of unresolved conflict, or I don't know, any angle at all you might want to look at it. So maybe you can think about that and I can come back to you. So I'm just going to tell us the puzzle for today. And this one, the harder you think, the farther away you'll be from the answer. So this one is, don't overthink it. But the question is, what is the best way to study the Bible? Thank you, Alex. Oh, what is the best way to study the Bible? There is a best way to study the Bible. If you know the answer, please, you can type it in or send an invite, because you have to get your gift somehow. So I need to see you in that box. What is the best way to study the Bible? So if you know the answer, please, the floor is yours. So, Jane, how are you today? I hope you're there. Please unmute. Let's meet you.
Yeah, I'm here. Good afternoon. I'm good, thank you.
Oh, good to hear from you. Is this your first time on Inside with FunmiRoyal?
Yes, yes.
Oh, wow. Jane, I've just seen what you've written. They say character Bible study. You care to explain?
So character, studying characters individually. So let's say you take Mary, for example. You study the character of Mary, and you take, let's say Joseph. You take Moses, and knowing their stories individually could give you a really, really good stance on knowing the Bible.
Jane, you know why I'm laughing? When I'm laughing, the person has got it wrong. Why? It's a good way to study. I've done that in the past before, so it's good. But there's a particular answer I'm looking for. So, what is the best? I nearly gave up the answer now. What is the best way to study the Bible? There's something you can do. And when you do it, that is the word I'm actually looking for. So thank you, but no thanks. And oh, TJ, thanks for joining. So I don't know what your take is about on this topic, and bear in mind we're looking at marriage relationship. And I always say that if you're, maybe in courtship, it's a plus to listen to these talks, but we're really talking about people in a marriage, conflicts in marriage. Talked about the effects of it, the causes of it, and how we can handle it as well, strategies to cope in. But I don't know, maybe there's another perspective you want to see or share with us. Please feel free, Jane. On to you.
Uh, Thank you so much for letting me speak. I believe that conflict in any form of relationship kind of like open your eyes for you to see what the person is like in any form of relationship, whether it's friendship, whether it's children. Conflict must happen, and once the conflict happens, you get to know the person better. Like in the terms of marriage, you cannot live with your spouse without having conflict. Conflict is possible, but then what is not okay, or what couples may need to be looking at is how to resolve this conflict when it happens. Learn to speak to your spouse when something happens between you two. Try and sit down and have a communication, talk about things real, talk about things through. Don't let, I mean, by all means, have marriage counseling. Marriage counseling is very important because if you have a marriage counselor, the marriage counselor can point out things to you that both of you might be doing wrong, that you didn't really pay attention to, but then then you can sit down and think things through. For example, if you let's say finances in the home, If both of you have different bank accounts and one person don't really know what the other person's money is like, what's going through and all that. But then when you go to marriage counseling, a marriage counselor may talk to you about maybe finances. How do you put your finances together? How do you save for the family? What are the investments that you've made? And all that. It's really, really important that communication is paramount, because a lack of the communication, the conflict will never, 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 never be resolved. And also, study your partner, know what the partner like, know their strength, know their weaknesses, and from a woman's perspective, be an anchor to your husband. If you like, know what your husband is like, know their strength, know their weaknesses. Obviously, I suppose that you would have known them before you got married to them. If you don't know who you get married to and then you go get married to narcissistic, that's what causes most of the problems most of the
Another
time.
problem
Because
altogether.
because you don't know the man before you got married to him, and then it ends up being complete opposite of what you ever hoped for. And my last point is in terms of conflict in marriage. Who are you going as a woman? We are really, really in this thing where we have in-laws all over the place, we have friend-laws all over the place, and we have frenemies where we think these people are for us. But my notion is, if you're having conflicts between you and your husband at home, who are you telling your business? Who are you going to explain your business to? The conflict between your husband, what are the advices that they've given to you? Some people can advise you in the right way, but there are also some other people that can advise you, and in fact that advice will make you want to pack your bag and run away from home. Things that they can't take in their home, they'll tell you to do the same, to do those things. Things that they can't tolerate, they will ask you to tolerate. Things that they'll tell you to advise you to do. It's really, really important that you have accountable partners, accountable friends that that I'm gonna tell this friend. Thank you. Like accountable friends where you know that I'm gonna explain this issue that's just happened between myself and my husband to my friend, and I know that my friend is responsible. I know that my friend is responsible enough to give me the right advices, show me the right direction in where to go, maybe help me pray about it if the need arises. These are the sort of friends that you should be looking at. Anything other than that, I think you may need to get on your knees and pray for yourself and ask the Lord to guide and protect you in terms of your spouse and your husband. And lastly, also from a woman's perspective, our husbands are going out in the world. They meet different kind of people at work. They meet different kind of people, maybe from growing up, various foundation, and also knowing that I got married to somebody whose foundation was different from my foundation. He may have had a very good foundation. He would have had a good foundation. His parents and his childhood was perfect, but then it would have been that my foundation was shaky. I never really saw what marriage was like. I didn't know what marriage and peaceful marriage was like. In my foundation, it would have caused so much chaos. And then now in my adulthood, all of the traumas from the childhood is now showing up. So it is really important that you know your spouse in and out, and and also the last point I wanted to make was pray up, pray up, pray up, because all of these things that happen in our foundation, especially especially when you haven't dealt with traumas in childhood. All of the traumas you've seen in childhood, some people may have gone through it, some people may have not gone through it, but one way or the other, especially when it comes to marriage, things that we saw our parents doing, things that we saw our mothers going through, things that we saw our fathers doing to our mothers. And if you don't get up and now begin to pray over your husband and say, as a wife, as a bone of your bone, as a backup to you, I'm gonna stand here and just pray up for you. I'm just gonna stand here and declare that what your father went through, you won't go through that. Some of our husbands gone through have been through this thing, where different the husband, their dad's married to 2, 3 different women, polygamy in their homes and from their background, and that polygamy will follow them if you don't stand up and break the cycle. From there, they do it involuntarily without realizing, and by the time you know it, that's how the home breaks, and then you see them going from women to women to women. So as a woman, I think the best you can do, you can't control them in terms of who they're going, but you can do your own part and just stand in there and pray for them in secret place.
Yes, thank you.
God's sake.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you so much, a first timer, and all of this you're dishing to us. Thank you so much for that contribution. And I believe strongly, and I agree with you totally. What you've just said is true. Our backgrounds are different. It's one of the things I mentioned in my talk as well. So we don't expect, that's why we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And I emphasize on compromise, because otherwise maybe more homes would have broken by now. Do we agree with that totally? Not all the time. So we need to learn to compromise, to have peace in our homes. We cannot always be 100% all the time on the same page. So that's where the compromise comes in. Sometimes, in fact, both of you will bring an idea or a solution, and then one party will say, you know what, I think you have a better idea of a better solution, and then they just go. So there's no need fighting back and forth with your idea, my idea, or whatever, So thank you for that. TJ, yay, thanks for joining us today. How are you? And thanks for your patience.
I'm doing well.
Yeah, it's good to have you here as usual. God bless you. Thanks for the support. I really, really appreciate it. So I don't know when you snuck in there, maybe you heard a bit of it, or maybe you even have a different perspective to where we have what we have said already. Please feel free. But my 2 questions remain. Do couples need to compromise in order to resolve a conflict? And then the second is, can unresolved conflict lead to separation or divorce? So I don't know if you want to start with any of the questions or you have a different perspective altogether. Please feel free to share. Thank you.
Yeah, so the first one is about compromise, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think, kudos to the previous lady who spoke now. I think she covered a lot in what she said. I think, conflict is inevitable. Conflict is unavoidable. And that's because of a quite wide range of reasons, which I think the previous speaker had spoken about. Number one is, upbringing, but fundamentally, it's difference in perspectives, right? And when you have difference in perspectives, and you're not married to someone, it's very easy to just depart with your perspective. But when you're married to someone, difference in perspective is okay, but you have to agree if a decision needs to be made about something, or it impacts, either of you, right? Which is where the word compromise comes in. The Bible says, can 2 work together except they agree? You only work with someone that you agree with. and sometimes you need to give way, and compromise. I think the best word to use is compromise your position to ensure that as long as the decision you're agreeing with, isn't detrimental to the family, right? If it moves forward, if it's just minute things, it is easy to sort of let go and give way because of peace. But I think that if you don't resolve issues, unresolved issues don't go away.
No.
You can't sweep them under the carpet. When you pick up the carpet, it will be there waiting for you.
Yeah.
Right? So issues have to be resolved. They have to be discussed. If they're not resolved,
bigger.
yeah, they just take a life of their own and start to feed and grow bigger and bigger as the years go by. So I think it can definitely lead to divorce. Absolutely. We've heard of people who got divorced because of the husband and wife could not agree on food, as that may seem silly,
Serious?
or even on friendships, right? or even because of family,
I know, yeah.
and it's led to divorce. And I think the key thing here has been said again is communication and compromise. I think in a marital setting, in a marriage, communication and compromise are words that you will have to deal with and sort of embrace on your journey within the context of a relationship. I go back to the scripture I spoke about earlier on that it is difficult to work with somebody you don't agree with. And I think negotiation, in some cases, to get to a point of agreement is always important, because when you don't agree, what will happen is that everyone suffers in the marriage.
Oh, yes.
Because you're making decisions and you think you're in agreement, but the other person isn't with you. And so they're pretty much dragging you back. Just imagine you're in a boat. You're rowing forward and somebody else is rowing backward. You're stagnant. You're not going anywhere. Right? All your efforts to row that boat in a direction that you think from your perspective is right is wasted when the person who's tied at the hip with you isn't going with you. It's like tying a rope with around the waist of two people, joining them together, one single rope, and they're running in opposite directions, right?
Yeah.
They will never have movement. They will never have momentum. They will never have progress.
Stagnancy.
Yeah, and that's what disagreements. That's what it does to relationships, to marriages, right? Disagreement in the area of finance. Somebody wants to spend more, somebody wants to save more. If there's no agreement, it's just a shipwreck.
Yeah.
Disagreement in regards to faith. Somebody doesn't believe that they should be going to church. Somebody believes that they must spend all their days in church. Could break the marriage. So disagreement in every facet.
Yes.
Yeah. If you don't have a working understanding between both of you on topics that matter to you, that are important to the marriage, and you don't have a working understanding, that would definitely fester some an environment of disagreement, an environment of just stagnancy, and it's not healthy for the relationship. These are my thoughts on the issue.
Oh, thank
you
you.
so much.
It's unfortunate because there's some situations that could be avoided. Sometimes, especially we, the cultural African people, let me put it that way, they believe that in many ways, the man as the head of the home must resolve every conflict. So the input from the wife, trying to bring solution or whatever, they don't even listen, let alone hear. And this is, for me, I think is a bit to the extreme, because no one person has all the knowledge, and it's not even fair to put that on the man, because two heads are better than one, as they say. Thank you so much, CJ, for your submission. I really appreciate that. So conflict in marriage, how do we resolve it before it escalates to separation or divorce? It can be resolved. And one of the things I also mentioned is that if it gets too much, too overwhelming, and I think Amy or Jay mentioned it, don't be ashamed to seek counsel. You can seek a professional counselor. And I mean, some people, especially for maybe Christians, they feel like, if I go to my pastor now, he will know my business, or he know our business, or what. There are professionals out there. It doesn't have to be in your local church. You can seek professional counselors out there. They still do the job professionally. Learn tools, learn strategies. Let them help you resolve this thing before it breaks that home up. Because when children are in that home, the children will suffer as well. We know what divorce will do. Either you have 50-50 custody, the child will be here Monday to Friday, Saturday to Sunday, they'll be here. I mean, it takes a toll on everyone. Meanwhile, if I had sat down with a professional and they kind of help you see reason with one another, you just find out that, you mean well for this home. You also mean well for this home. But we just have to come and agree, just like TJ said. We have to agree to resolve this conflict or whatever it is, a disagreement, so that it doesn't break up our home. We put in the effort. I was on a hangout, like I said earlier, and I always say this, and maybe somebody will bail me out one of these days. Couples will break up, and then you're asking them why, what led to your breakup, and they say irreconcilable differences. I don't understand. Maybe I should break the word down into two and look for the meaning of this, look for the meaning of this. Maybe it will make sense to me. What do you mean irreconcilable? Meaning both of you want to have your way, both of you are not allowing each other have your way, and then you're happy this home has broken up because of that? I mean, how far are we willing to? Is there love, genuine love in that relationship? Because if I hear irreconcilable differences, it never ever goes down well with me, because I can't understand it. One thing is a couple breaking up because of DVs and DAs. I mean, we hear that, we understand that. But what do you mean because he's not having his way, I'm not having my way, let's go our separate ways? What kind of a thing is that? I don't, no submission. And our Bible tells us, submitting one to another. And then because of that, we will break that home. You put your children into a broken home. They shuttle here and there. Their lives turned upside down just because you didn't have your way. I can never ever understand this. So before it gets to that, let's sit down. Because like TJ said, almost everyone has said here, conflicts, they're inevitable. It will come. As you're resolving one, I'm telling you next week, another one is waiting for you. So how many do you want to disagree on? You would have to sit and communicate, talk about things. Otherwise, nobody will be telling you, I'm 25 years in my marriage, or I'm 30 years in my... I want to believe for those who are married here, I know TJ, he's been married for years, and in fact, celebrating a big one soon. And if he will tell you conflict that has come and gone over these decades, and I can tell you the same thing. So it's never ever going to stop. I don't know the amount of prayers we can pray to stop conflicts from coming. Whether it's like saying you want to pray not to breathe air kind of a thing. It will come. But how do we resolve it? How do we overcome it? That we're not fighting each other, but that issue. Because we have to agree. Sometimes they say we have to agree to disagree. At some point, a decision has to be made, and it has to be mutual agreement, mutual resolution, mutual solution, or whatever it is between a couple. I don't know, Emmy, if you want to add one or two more things. But before you do, what is the best way to study the Bible? I saw everything you have written there. Amy, let me I said to you, don't overthink it. In fact, your overthinking has blown my roof. So it's not all of those things you have written there, not at all. What is the best way to study the Bible? Nobody got it last week, so I'm going to tell us the answer today in case you're trying and still nobody gets it. And I get to eat my donut, period. I love to share, but if you don't get it, no donut for anyone. Miss May, thanks for joining. So May,
We love to learn. We love to learn. That's why I'm learning.
said you're aspiring, you're thinking about it, you're probably even courting, you've been engaged, and all of that is a good talk to be part of, because we learn by the day. It's not when we not enter the marriage, we're not bringing books. How do I cope with this thing? Or how do I? We need to start preparing ourselves for that marriage. And that's why I always say marriage is not for boys and girls. Marriage is for mature man, mature woman, because it takes a lot of maturity to handle all that marriage is going to bring your way. I'm telling you. Okay, Jane said through memory verses, but not the answer I'm looking for. Minded people. Some people are ready financially to get married, but mentally, zero. So money will not help you with everything. You think if you give your wife money, she'll be fine. But that's not it. It's not even close to it at all. One thing I've learned over the years, love alone will not do it. Money alone will not do it. What else is there? All of those things by themselves cannot cut it. You need a combination of everything: love, patience, kindness, all of it, brotherly love, sisterly love, agape love, all of it to make marriage to work. It's hard work, but it can be enjoyed. It can really, really be enjoyed if we are working together, if we're in agreement. Sometimes, of course, we'll have disagreement, but at the end of the day, we know we're still going to come and agree on this thing to do. So we shouldn't allow conflicts to break us apart. Really, that's the total submission here. Conflict should not break us apart. Conflict should not break us apart, whether it's coming from family, in-laws, friends, relative, finances, whatever, wherever it's coming from, should not be the end of that marriage. It shouldn't be. We should overcome, not the conflict overcoming us. Thank you, Chacho. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate that. So my puzzle, who wants to take this prize today? What is the best way to study the Bible? Storytelling, huh? Well done, thank you, but no thank you. No, far from it. I don't know, TJ, you want to try? You want to try the puzzle today? What is the best way to study the Bible? No. So guys, whilst we're on this topic today, conflict in marriage, do you think that because they say women are the weaker vessel, she sees that the husband has made this decision to resolving things, but she sees that it is not going to help. In fact, it has consequences. So should she just keep quiet to say, well, he's the man, whatever he decides goes. Anything he says is my Lord and Master, anything he says goes. Is that okay though? Please, let's talk about these things, because I know people are listening and that might just be their situation. How do they go about this? Especially when they know that the decision that has been made is going to be to the detriment of that home. Should they be quiet, or should they say something, or how do they go about it? How can they go about it? Jane, I want to hear from you, please.
I believe that submission in any way is very important when you do have your husband, and when your husband is speaking, or when you guys are communicating in certain areas of your marriage. It's really important that you remain submitted to him. But submission doesn't mean closing your mouth and sitting down on things that are important. That's just some kind of narcissistic, to my understanding. Anyway, that's my opinion.
Some culture really believe in this thing I'm talking about.
Yes. So the reason why I'm saying that is, I'll give example of my mom. My mom, obviously, her generation is the kind of generation that even when things are wrong, she'll still not say anything and close her mouth to it. So I grew up seeing her, even when things were not right, and she'll still not say anything and say, oh, it's my husband. I've seen maybe relatives of mine who probably went through the same kind of patterns in their marriages where things were not right, but they will say, okay, where will I take my children? The husbands were not behaving well. They would say, where will I take my children? And in the name of culture, they sat there and tolerated a whole lot of stuff, emotional abuse, all kind of things that they went through. And they didn't say anything because of culture, because of submission. Now, though, we're in the Gen Z and things have changed drastically.
Oh, drastically.
You're not going to stand up to your husband and say, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it now. But there are ways that you could do it. For example, when I'm in the car, for example, with my husband, and we're taking a particular road that go into the direction where we're going. And I know if he says, okay, take this road is faster, or he's driving, I'm telling him, don't go that way. There's traffic there. And most of the time with the children in the car, he will say, no, 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 no. I'm going this way. I've used it before. It's faster this way. In the end, I will just leave him. Guess what? 15 minutes later, we're still stuck in the traffic.
I
He
know
will end up, he will end up using the route.
Tell me
He will
about
end up using the route I have advised him before. Can we, honey, let's use this route. He will say no. He will end up using that very route. And then even the children will say, but mommy told you.
I know. They hit you home hard.
Yeah. So we live in the days now where, like I said, the Gen Z, things have changed. You can remain humble to your husband, but that doesn't mean that you close your mouth. Humility is not shutting you down.
Yeah.
Humility is discussing things and respecting him in standing up for the family in various areas. Is giving him that lending out to say, honey, okay, we've decided this, now you do it. It's not shutting you down and allowing him to walk all over you. No, that's not humility. And now, because some of us have seen our mothers gone through it, seen our grandmothers gone through it, we want to break the cycle. And how do we break that cycle? We're not going to stand up to our husbands and be mouthy to them and be rude to them, but we can sit down and discuss things and allow them to understand that this is the pattern that I've gone through in my family. I don't want this to carry on. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I'm going to shut up. I can still speak up and respect you and be humble to you and submissive to you in a really sweet and humble way.
Yeah.
And we can both enjoy our homes together.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Lover of good things. Thank you, sir, for joining. Good evening. How are you, sir? Emmy said open-minded. Yes, we have to both be.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. We missed you the early part of the program.
Yeah, I went to the other one you did on Monday. I thought that was the show.
Oh.
So later on, I discovered that you are not responding to what I'm saying.
Oh, anyway, I think with time you will get used to it. I do understand. So thank you so much, sir, for at least finding us today before we round up. And I'll just give you a brief summary. We're talking about conflict in marriage. We had to look at the effects of it, what causes it, and how we can, resolve it. So that's where people have been coming from different perspectives. And there were two questions that I had to ask us. Do couples need to compromise in order to resolve a conflict? And then the second is, can unresolved conflict lead to separation or divorce? So you might want to look at the question, or you have something else you want to share with us, because I think I saw you type something on there about communication. If you want to share with us, so we'd love to hear from you, sir.
Yeah, look, one thing is, if you marry a friend of yours and a companion, it won't be, it won't be very difficult for you to tell him or her the truth.
That's true.
If he or she is your friend and a companion, if he does something wrong, you tell him in a way that will not bring about annoyance.
Mm.
That's a way you can, from where we come from. The Yoruba says, Pele, Olako, Olako, Olobi, Olobi, Olako. So the way you, and ọ̀rọ̀ tútù, wọ́n ló máa ń yọ obì lápò ni.
I might have to translate that too.
Yeah. If you, that's a way, that's a way you can talk to somebody that, it will be ready to listen to you. And
Yeah.
there's a way you can talk to somebody that it will bring about a fight.
Yeah.
Wanted to fight, we want to fight you. So that's what I'm saying. If you marry someone that is your friend and a companion, there's a way you can sit down, maybe at the coffee, tea, or round table when you are eating your dinner or lunch or breakfast. You talk things over.
Mm.
You won't be afraid to talk to your friend.
No.
So
We shouldn't, but we all know what is out there in this world today. All sorts.
look, let me tell you the truth.
Please, sir.
If you don't take what is in your home to your friends outside, when we were about to marry, when we went for a counseling,
Yeah.
they told the married ladies that henceforth your spinster friends are no more your friends. You should do away with them. Because if you seek advice from them, the way they will advise you
It'll be different.
might not be useful to you because you are no more in that position again. And I'm telling you, if you don't take your problem to outsiders, nothing will happen. You will live happily forever. Don't allow all these friends, both sides. Though I'm not talking about women alone, both men and women. If you don't take your problem to your friends, your father, your mother, your in-laws, there will be peace. How do I put it now? You fight.
We live to fight
You,
another day, Abi. I don't know. I'm trying
yeah,
to, something like
no, that one you won't run away from your husband. You won't run away from your wife. You just talk things over. That's a way. When I'm when you are in a happy mood, just say, darling, you did certain things at that time that was not right. But I won't say it immediately. I won't say it in the presence of your friends or in the presence of people. But now I can sit you down and tell you this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And if you think you have any explanation towards that, say it. Then we'll see who is right or who is wrong.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I just caught you in a minute, but you can go ahead after. As you're speaking, I just remember this young, well, they're not really young because 10 years in their marriage, couple I was speaking with some time ago. And one of the things the husband said was, I'm not saying don't have friends, but all our friends are single people or single mothers, and the advice they're giving us is not helping us in our marriage. So I
Yes.
understand that. So it's very crucial who we are friends with when we
True.
get married. It's very crucial.
Yeah. It's very, very crucial. That's what the advice they gave us. And they told us then that we should not expect too much from each other. That we are two different people coming from two different backgrounds.
Yes, indeed. In fact, I think Jane
So
is
we
doing
just
that as
have to
well.
learn from each other, learn to manage each other. There is no perfect man, there is no perfect woman.
That's true. I'm not perfect.
So
Me that
no,
I'm talking
nobody.
about
Are
marriage
you
here,
married
I'm
me?
not perfect either. So I
I'm not,
understand that.
nobody can claim perfection. No human being can claim perfection.
At
No
all.
human being. We are just trying. We are trying. We try to manage each other.
Oh
Yes.
my god.
Are you saying something?
My class does not start to
Me, I did
9:30.
not allow you to sleep.
TJ, are you still with us? I can hear my sister's voice. Okay, let me mute him. He would. Okay, he did. So thank you, sir, for that. See, that's another aspect because friends sometimes can bring conflicts in your home. You know, if they, I think in my earlier part of the talk, I said something like, now you're married, your friends before, when you were single as a girl or as a lady, they just open the door, enter your room, jump on the bed, you know, like that. Now you're married and they still want to do the same thing. I'm like, hello, hello. I mean, courtesy demand, you know, boundaries. If you don't put boundaries in place, they are meant they will break you guys up if care is not taken. So now imagine you and your hobby in the room, and maybe you left them in the living room downstairs or something, and they just feel, oh, they remember something, upstairs, just open the door on you two, like that's what they do, or that's what they've done for the past 30 years, how many years. But now your friend is married. There's something called boundary. The way you will bust into her room before, once upon a time, like I said, once upon a time, you cannot do that now because you create a rift between the couple. I bet by the time you leave, they'll be like, this your friend doesn't have manners. This your friend, this and that, you know, and then say, this is my best friend for the last donkey years. What do you mean, da da da? Wisdom, maturity. In fact, you don't need somebody to tell you that. Tell your friend this kind of behavior, you know, cannot carry on. When you go to visit her as a single person, maybe you can do all of that. But now we're talking about your matrimonial room. Nobody just barges in there. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it over, I don't know. But I just feel, I mean, you know, courtesy demand that certain things,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
we need to put in place. And some
In
people,
addition,
yes, sir. Please go on, sir.
yeah, you see, when I was a bachelor, we took a lot of risk because of our ignorance then. My friends will just come, some of my friends will just call me by 1 a.m., 2 a.m. They just tell me, I'm going to sleep in your house today. Then that night, both of us will go out and buy. There is one place they call Abule Oja. If you know Akoka very well, in
Well,
Lagos.
yeah.
There's one woman there. We call that woman Yaki Isun. We go there and buy fish and buy whatever you
That is
want
a
to
woman that
buy.
never sleeps. For those who don't
Yes,
understand, yeah.
it's 24/7. Well, she's always there. So this woman advised me one day, said, look, when I told this woman, I told her, I said, I'm tired though. All this, my friend will just come any time of the day.
Wow.
Say, I'm sleeping in your house today. I'm sleeping in your. Then we will come to you and buy fish, buy other things, ingredients to cook. And we'll cook that night and we'll eat. You know what this woman told me?
Mm-mm.
And illiterate though, she said, go
Wow.
and marry.
Hey.
Go and marry. If you marry now, you will see. You will see all of them. They will run away.
Mm,
They won't
mm,
come and disturb you anymore. And it was so exactly what this woman said. Apart from there's one thing they call native intelligence. Though they don't go to school, but they have that native intelligence.
yeah, yeah.
Immediately I got married. Hey, my dear people, all these people they ran away. I didn't see nobody again coming at midnight that I'm going to sleep in your house. I'm going to sleep.
Hmm.
Later on I discovered they said, what if when they come and something happened to them that midnight?
Hey, it's on you.
It's on me.
Hmm.
But we don't know nothing then. We don't think about such things. Just come, let's play, let's have fun.
Hmm.
A lot of good things in marriage. There is a lot, though we some are with problems,
Yeah,
but
well,
a lot of good things are in marriage.
yes, I concur.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for that addition. God's love, God bless you. You're welcome. Good evening to you, or good day, because I don't know what time it is. How are you?
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everyone.
You're
Good evening.
welcome.
Yeah, I followed you on Sunday at Mrs. Williams' live.
Oh, okay. So this is your first time here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're welcome. So I don't know. I think
You
you're
look
just
amazing
joining me.
tonight.
Thank you. So, do you have any contributions to, share with us? We've been talking about conflict in marriage. We looked at what causes it. We looked at the effects, and we looked at how it can be resolved, constructively and peaceably, so to say. And then after my talk, I'll always ask questions so that we can start from there. But if you have another submission, please feel free. I asked us, do couple need to compromise in order to resolve a conflict? And again, can unresolved conflict, can it lead to separation or divorce? I don't know if you want to answer the question or you have other contributions, please feel free.
Okay. I just came in, so I think I'm learning in the process too. So I would just want to be as a student
Okay,
in
all
this
right.
classroom.
Everybody's
Thank you.
welcome here on Inside with FunmiRoyal. Thank you so much for joining. I really, really appreciate you for coming.
Thank you so much.
So after today, you're not a newbie anymore. You're part of the family. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
indeed. It's an interesting topic. This topic, I was saying earlier that there are some topics we shy away from. Talking publicly like this or trying to find solution. Everybody feels you're in your marriage, sort it out, do this out and all. But like Lover of Good Things said, we are not all perfect. We don't have all the answers. Sometimes we need people to help us, especially those who are newlyweds. They have a long rope to pull, so to say. So if they're here listening right now, if you're newlywed listening, I want to believe you're writing notes, because the truth is conflict will come, but how do you resolve it? How do you do it respectfully? How do you do it with love? How do you compromise? Sometimes you might just have to hands off and let the other person just, be in charge. And it doesn't make you lesser of a person in that relationship, but you're only clamoring for peace to reign in your home. So sometimes I personally believe you might have to reach a compromise, just so that that conflict will be resolved, for peace to reign. And then whatever happens, you both can deal with that as well. So, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. We are all students here. Yeah, everybody's a student. We learn from one another. And like I always say, God's intention for us is to enjoy our marriages and not endure. Like, we have to enjoy it. I mean, imagine spending the rest of your life with this person. Why would you want to be enduring, enduring, enduring? You will run out of endurance at some point if care is not taken. So we need to enjoy our marriages, learn from older couples, read books like I was sharing before, go on YouTube, how to resolve conflicts or conflict management, whatever topic you want to give it. There are loads of stuff to help us out. So don't shy away from it, because it will come. Some people, in fact, I can't remember where I was, where this person was saying, I've never argued with my husband. I'm like, please tell us another lie, not that. And you've been married for, I think, almost 20 years or thereabout. And I'm like, no, I can't believe that, because I know it's not possible. Maybe you might say you don't argue openly or publicly or whatever. I hear that. But you tell me all this, then that means you people have been deceiving each other, or you're not telling each other the truth. Because I don't think there's any couple on earth who would not have gone through, whether small conflict or big conflict or average size conflict, some sort of conflict, they would have gone through it. People, maybe I'm in a wonderland. I don't know. Thank you,
I was,
Simplicity, for joining. Please.
I was just going to say something whilst
Please.
just sitting here and listening. Another thing that really helps
Yeah.
is if you have a conflict resolution or management process that you both agree on, right?
Yeah.
I think that is a practical step that one could take, in the sense that you'll say to yourself, okay, if these are the ways that we will handle conflict, it doesn't mean that it will fit every conflict that you face.
But at
But
least
this means
something
that
in place.
something in place that proactively, okay, this is how we engage. These are the rules of engagement during conflict, to ensure that no one is bruised, and to ensure that at least we're being objective through managing that conflict.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
understand? I
Mm-hmm.
think if couples also take that on board and try and come up with, and they could use the Bible as a basis for that. They could use,
If they are both of faith, yeah.
experience, yeah, reading books on marriages and just pick things that they'll say, okay, look, if we want to handle conflict, this is the environment in which we handle conflict. For example, maybe we don't handle conflict in front of the children, or these are rules of engagement. We want to handle conflict. Let's de escalate first.
Yeah.
We will not handle conflict from an emotional perspective. So if somebody is emotional at that moment, that's not the time to handle. So just having a process in place to help you to engage when
Yeah.
there's conflict, because of course,
Constructively, yeah.
yeah, people lose objectivity when there's conflict sometimes. So to just say, okay, look, this is the way we plan to do this. It's like people doing a budget as well. Like, if you say you've done a budget, doesn't mean you don't go outside that budget sometimes,
Of
but at least you have
course,
a
it's a
basis
guide.
with a guide. So you have a guide to say, okay, this is how we spend. So also, if you can put that in place, that would help as well.
Yeah.
That's my
Thank you.
suggestion.
Thank you. So for me, in fact, TJ, that's huge. For those who are engaged, for those who are in a courtship, please, these are things you need to be discussing now. Don't wait till after marriage before you start talking about these things. Jane said also learning how to regulate our emotions is very true. Yes, we need to, because sometimes when there are conflicts, you just think you're talking to a monster because the words or the statement that were coming out from them, you'd be like, is this the man or the woman I married? So we need to regulate our emotions because look, we're still going to sleep and wake up with this person the next day. And they say words are like eggs. Once they come out, it's broken. You can't put it back together. So we need to be mindful. We talked about, communicating respectfully, and that's very crucial as well. Hey, my brother Onoye, thanks for joining. You're welcome. Where have you been? You're just coming now. We've been waiting for you since. How are you? Hey, I hope he can talk where he is now. Amy, I can see network, but at least
Can
you're.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Good evening, and you?
I'm good, thanks. We thank God. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I think when it comes to conflict, we have some light conflict, and then we have some really
Heavy,
conflict.
heavy duty.
Everyone is there is no measurement or there is no yardsticks into those ones. It just come boom. But the really two that can really help is the one that like uh, deter. Deter can actually help by walking away. If you can spot the conflict coming, you can deter, which is you can
How,
avoid
how
it.
long? How long for? Because that conflict is not going to deter itself.
No, it will.
Use
You
your
see,
word.
in the security terms, we use the word deter, yeah, which is to avoid the thing not to come. And there's another one again we use again. To come, I would say. So just like if you see the person is about to do the thing, then you keep your observation, and then you can see that this thing is about to happen, and then you as a security person, you make yourself very obvious. You bring yourself to the light so that the person can see you.
Okay.
So when the person sees you, it will not be able to do that thing.
Oh, the escalation. Okay. Okay.
No, no, that will not de-escalate first, deter.
Oh,
Yeah, that's deter. When you see the person that is about to do the thing, and
exactly
then
what I'm thinking. Maybe
yeah,
Tom also agrees with me. Will deter
yeah,
only be it will be temporal because that's not solution.
yeah. But if you are that kind of person, because at the end of the day, you'll be living with this person.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you say one or two, you can read the person voice that the person voice is going up. So that means you already know that. Oh, if you say the last word, that means the third one will goes up. So
Okay.
you will just walk away. You will just stop talking. You refrain yourself from talking. So that means you have actually sense the conflict coming, and then you walk away. That's deter. So you don't let it to happen anymore. You just walk away. Then the other one you use now. That's what I'm trying to remember. To de-escalate. Good. So to de-escalate, the person is actually talking already. So when the person is already talking already, there is no need for you. And a lot of even that one said it happens. You can see that one in police training as well. That says once you find out that the armed robbers are already shooting, you as the officer don't bother to shoot anymore. Yeah, so once they are actually doing the attacking, you just stay. Yeah, you say just stay aside, just keep a distance and be observing what they're doing. Because by the time the armed robber is shooting already, you too, you came in, you started shooting with them. You don't know who might get involved again with flight bullets. So once they're shooting, you stay aside, don't shoot. Make sure the environment is calm, then look for a better option to attack back, not just immediately. So that one, you say you can resolve that conflict. If the person you say you don't bother, you say just wait.
Oh no, yeah, with these tips you've given me, I think I should go and apply to be a police officer. I will,
Yeah,
I will ace
yeah, yeah. It's a just wait.
Yeah,
So
thank
that most of the time, if you see when police is doing arrest for who is violent, if they are talking, you see the police officer don't talk back. He will just be listening to what the person is saying at that moment, and then he will give that. Okay, have you finished talking? You will now see the officer will now be calming that person that is violence down. So it's after the officer finished calming that person, you see before the officer will started talking. But in some cases, when you see that if the person refuse to calm down after some period of time, they allow the person to talk. If refuse to calm down, that's when you now say, okay, use the reasonable force. You now say, okay, now use a reasonable force.
Okay, we
Uh,
have to bear in mind now. I
yeah,
know you're speaking more in parables. We're talking about marriage, conflict in marriage, because we don't want people to be a bit confused out there because people are listening. So when you're making your point, please always refer to that, and
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
that will help us
Yeah, so
understand.
in marriage, those two can actually help. It help perfectly. That
Okay.
if you can set it on time, that deter it helps, and then that de-escalates. It help. As soon as you just
Be
carry your shirt.
coming down
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this.
that's it. Just calm me down. Yeah, you just carry your shirt. You walk away. The person is talking. You don't even talk anymore. You just keep looking. You just walk away. Yeah. So those two
So I'm taking it
help
like
perfectly.
it's like you're building up on something. So we talked about strategies and tools. So if you feel the disagreement or the conflict is, making everybody's blood boil kind of a thing. So you're saying that we should at that time, I mean, maybe we should be the bigger person, as they
Yeah,
say,
yeah. You just calm down.
and
Yeah,
not light the fire some
yeah,
more,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
So we have to be calm,
yeah.
or we can actually walk away at that point in
That
time so that
that's it.
okay. So I'm trying to understand and speak our own
Yeah,
language here
language.
so that
Yeah,
other people can understand. And it talks you also mentioned that to deter as and walk away maybe at that point in time so that things don't get
yeah.
overheated.
Go overeated. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we all know we're still coming back to talk about whatever the issue is, because that's just solution for that time being, is
Yeah,
not
at that time being yeah. No, it's
solution.
not permanent because once you can avoid that first two heated moments, if you can avoid those first two heated moments, then in the next 1 or 2 hours, even the next day, that person temper have come down. And that person will be in a better state of mind to not even that thing will not become a proper discussion. It will no longer become a conflict anymore. It will
Okay.
not become a discussion.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Thank you. I hear you.
Yeah, please, can I?
Heard as you were speaking, and I'm wondering, okay, we're going to land soon. So thank you for landing us. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for that contribution,
can I
guys.
talk on?
Yes, you will. Just a quick one. I know we're meant to finish at
Yes,
9.
conflict can lead
Oh.
to, divorce or separation. It can.
Probably helps in domestic violence. Yeah, that's one of the strategies. Yeah, but not on the long term. Yeah, that's true. Sorry, sir, to cut you. 1 second. We are meant to finish at 9 o'clock, but like I say, when issues are like this and we're learning from one another, I tend to leave it a bit longer. So apologies if you have to go. I do understand, but thank you so much for your support. So over to you, sir. Lover of good things.
Yeah, I'm saying that conflict can lead to divorce.
Hmm.
When the two both parties they try to resolve the issue and they couldn't resolve it. They took all the avenue that they can take, but it's not resolvable. So it's better to go to get out of the marriage in peace. Everybody to each our own tent. Because
Sir, can I cut you there, sir? Because here we're trying to help each other out. Should that lead to divorce? Can they not separate first and see if they can work things out instead of just going straight for divorce?
no, I've said it. I said they've taken all the route
Okay, so
necessary
that includes
for
separation.
to resolve the issue, and yet nothing is they couldn't resolve it. So the best bet is to separate and everybody to each our own tent instead of killing each other. Because I've seen a lot because they say, because of my kids, well, let me endure. At the end of it, at the end of the day, it leads to death. So it's better.
Unfortunately.
Divorce is not good, but I mean, in some cases, you just have to do it
I hear you.
for
Okay.
for
And
for for safety.
TJ is asking that if you can give us an example so that we can understand better, sir.
Okay, one. Let me give you an example.
Yes, sir, please.
The first time this lady did this thing, the man forgave her. Said, well, maybe it's a mistake. This lady did the same thing the second time. Then the man said, well, this is no more mistake. You did this on purpose. First time, I forgave you. The second time you did it again, that means you are playing on my intelligence. You are telling me I'm a fool.
Okay.
So they tried to resolve it. The man said no. That's how they separated and got divorced.
So I think just like Onoye said, it depends on how grievous the conflict
Yes, how grievous the
is.
problem is. I can't tell you the problem now because
Well,
it's a
I
public
think we
domain.
have a clue, sir. So yeah, I think I get it. I don't know about other TJ. Are you satisfied with that answer, please?
I think to the point that Onaya made, it depends on the situation, right? Because so for example, if say for example a man expects his yam to be fried and the wife keeps cooking it twice, I say, I warned you once, I want you the second time. We are divorced, baga.
No, 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 no,
That would be so.
no.
So it depends.
How
It
can you
depends
divorce? How
on
can
what
you
it
divorce
is.
your wife because of food?
No, no, I just didn't
I
understand. That's
think
what I was trying
somebody
to
mentioned it
understand.
before. Things are happening.
It's happened. People, and it's always about perspectives, right? Because people have different sort of, uh, should I say, levels of patience. But ultimately, if there's anything that would test your patience, is the marriage. You understand? And these are what do you call them? They are teething problems of you getting to know each other, of you getting to love one another, of you getting to work well with one another, because ultimately the goal is to get you to a point where you understand each other and you're willing to sacrifice for one another, right? It's not something that comes
Yeah.
natural to us as human beings. That ability to want to sacrifice, it takes two for any marriage to work. So if people give up on the marriage because they've decided to give up, both parties, it's never always about one person, right? It's give and take.
Yeah.
So I can understand if people get to that point where both sides are not willing to give and take, and that's just because they've given up on the marriage. But every marriage is salvageable, if people are willing to do the work.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Both parties. Both parties.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It
If
takes
both
two to
parties are
know.
willing to make it work, yes, both people can do. Not one playing a fool and the other one, and saying whatever I say in this house when you are talking to your children now, and they have to go and look at their mother's feet before they answer you. You know what that means? A woman will say whatever I say in this house is final. It will be poisoning your kids against you. Will you take that forever?
No, no. And what I find though, sir, is that often at times, and this goes back to one of the things I was saying earlier on around having rules of engagement, right? That people agree on, right? Because you know, we have different cultures, we come from different cultures, different backgrounds, different upbringings, and our perspective on marriage or our perspective on how life should be lived will be different. We should expect it to be different if we didn't grow up in the same house and we're not raised by the same parents and we didn't go through the same circumstances. So it's important that people sit down and say, listen, this is how I was brought up. This is my belief on this matter. What's your belief on this matter? Then let's agree on a way forward. To proactively do that rather than waiting for conflicts to arise. And that you won't be able to cover every scenario, but just trying to, you know, be proactive and to preempt certain things that are key.
Like a foundation to
So you should have the same understanding about money and discuss it proactively. You know, you should have the same understanding about raising kids and discuss it proactively. You should have the same understanding about, okay, sex, what is it to you? What is it to me? And discuss it proactively. You understand? So things are important. Okay, in-laws, how do we have relatives in this house with us or we don't? Or how do we deal with that? Oh, I like it. You don't like it. Okay, why? Okay, how can we work and make sure that, okay, we're on the same page? So it's always about talking. It's always about finding middle ground where we both agree so that we can move forward in peace. And it won't be done for you. You have to take the initiative in your relationship, you and your partner, to discuss it.
Yeah. Yes.
My brother, it's easier said than done. When you get, it's like a spectator and a footballer. When footballers are playing on the field, a spectator will be blaming them, saying you cannot play it like this, you cannot head it like this. But when you get there yourself, when you get to the field, you know that it's not something that is that easy.
I know it's not that easy. I've been married for 19 years. I'll be 20 next year. And I can't say that it is that easy. But what I do know is, you know, the way you start, you can't compare your marriage to anybody else. It's what you do in your marriage. And so if you're proactive and you sit down and have conversations, the fact is that people haven't tried everything before they give up.
Yes.
So the question is, if this was a business that you're totally invested in, you know, would you not be proactive about it? Would you wait in your business and expect sales to come through the door before you make a decision on whether or not, okay, I'll be proactive to go and get some sales leads and build my funnel, right? So it's really all about the way you see your marriage, really. And both of you need to be aligned. You just need to sit down and have conversations. People who don't do it end up with marriage counselors who then sit down and mediate to talk about these things. What's your perspective? What's your own perspective? Okay. And they start mediating. So rather than leaving it to chance, be proactive about the relationship. You've entered it and you've said, okay, till death do us part, then you must do everything you can to ensure that you are successful, including praying for one another, including being there for one another, including talking, communication. Communication is not when you talk to someone. It's when they understand the intention of what you are communicating. So you haven't communicated to someone until they understand and they play back what you've said to you. So communication is a big part of relationships. You have to over communicate.
Yes.
You know, for somebody to understand where you're going. That's my view anyway.
Thank you.
Well, I respect your view. I respect your view and I respect your opinion, but it's a pity. This is a public domain. If we are one-on-one, I will tell you certain things that will amaze you that led to that person's divorce. That with all this man did,
Oh,
you see,
go on.
just let's pray that we
I
marry.
think it still boils down to the enormity of the issue. Like I said, but regardless, this is me now saying this. if it's not DVs and DAs, and you know what I mean by that, I don't keep saying that domestic abuse or violence, I think it can be resolved as long as both parties. That's why I said if it gets so bad, seek counseling, because in that counseling room, a lot of things will be exposed to both of you. And this person, they don't know you. I want to believe so. A professional counselor, and they will let you see reason why you're wrong, why you're wrong, why you're right, why you're right, and they will help you resolve it. I remember some time ago, I think early this year or late last year, there was somebody, going away, and we had to go and do like a bye-bye ceremony or whatever. And whilst we were there, I discovered that this person, the reason why they were leaving is because they've separated or divorced from the wife. And I'm like, what happened? And it was the man that was in this gathering at this time. And the man started saying, also as a counselor, I know your woman is not here to defend herself. So, but whatever you say to me, I will counsel you based on that. And it was just a gathering. It wasn't a counseling session. But he got to the point that I think it was so heavy-hearted, he just had to let us, because we're friends, he had to share. And the things he was saying, in my mind, I'm like, this one should not have led to divorce. I allowed him finish, he wanted to offload, okay. I now just chipped in one or two, but what if this? But did you? And the guy, honestly speaking, was sober. And he said, well, it's too late now. I said, no, it's never too late. But I think the pride, because I think they've gone through the divorce already, maybe it's the pride. That's my own conclusion. That is the pride, like him going back to say, let's go for therapy now that everybody's gone their way. And they've only got young children, two of them, So I'm like, it takes two. But sometimes you don't think things can be resolved because you're just seeing things from your perspective alone. A counselor will come in professionally to open your eyes wider, and then you will see clearer, and then you can be able to resolve things. I'm not saying it's going to be that easy, but it can be done. As long as it's not those two I've mentioned, DADVs, I believe strongly. If it means me swallowing my pride for peace to reign, if it means me, being trampled on for the sake of love, for the sake of the unity in this marriage, is meant to be forever. So things like this would happen, and it's not going to be happening all the time. Maybe just this one time, somebody has to let go so that there'll be peace again in that home. But it's when both of them are so adamant, like sometimes you think they're possessed, even with the way they're so adamant, like, no. And I'm like, it shouldn't be this hard. So we get people like that, maybe because they're fed up with, over time, they're fed up.
See,
I mean, we as
that is
Christians,
it.
lovers of good things, we as Christians,
The one,
even
the one
Jesus
I'm
said
talking about,
70 times,
the
7
one I'm
times,
talking about,
we have to forgive.
Fumi,
Sir? I'm
the one
hearing
I'm
you,
talking
sir.
about, they went through the church counseling. They went through the church counseling. When they got to court, they gave them professional counselors that they should come together and
And
trash it
resolve
out.
things. Yeah.
Yet this lady doesn't want to shift ground.
See? That's
So it
why.
So
cannot
they
work.
just said, well, that's nothing.
Because
That's
one,
nothing.
it takes two. Imagine if she says, okay, I've let go, or whatever it is, that's the end of it. But if they're not willing to do that, then
Then
divorce
yeah.
comes. So it's not like it cannot be resolved. They just choose not to resolve it.
Yeah. We agree. Everything can be resolved if the both parties are willing.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the thing we have.
And
Some
we
of
are not
some
talking.
of us.
We are
This is the
not talking.
things.
These both parties are willing.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we've
We're
always said.
saying.
Yeah, that's what I always say. Now, this is what we're always fighting in marriage here. One trying to protect his or her opinion.
Oh,
That's the problem. One
Mm.
try to protect his or her opinion, and at the
let
end of
you
the day,
change your home because of
you
opinion.
that's what we see these days in marriage, and this is what I've been playing out in our society. Like we say, is like our religious politics we're practicing. Now, for the fact that this person is from my side, there's nothing wrong he's doing. Now, you will see in some marriage here, you will
Yeah.
see the husband will be saying, talk to your dad or your mom. concerning this thing that I'm saying. You will see that other person say, no, no, it's my dad. I can't talk to my dad. Oh. I can't say anything to my dad. Oh. No, 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 no. I don't want problem. Now, how can your partner is telling you that this thing that this your family member is doing in this house, it does not work with me, and then you refuse to talk to your own parents or your family member because it's your family member. It's not, you see, Nana, that person is trying to fight, is protecting his own opinion there. Instead of that person to give ear to understanding, to logic, and say, okay, let me even talk to my parents about this thing that this my partner is talking about. That person will say no. So these are the things.
Yeah, but Onoye, sorry for cutting you, right? I always ask this question of people when they say these kind of things. And the question I ask is, what were you discussing when you were courting each other? What were the things that you were talking about when you were, leading up to saying that you want to spend the rest of your life with these persons, with this person that you want to marry before? I'm not saying you figure out everything before you marry them, but what is your view on, if for example I don't like, because it's discussing what I like and what I don't like, and understanding that whose side are you on? How do we, if this was a scenario, how do we deal with this scenario? What's your view on it? Throwing those things up so that you try and learn as much as you can. I'm not saying you will do it exhaustively, but
at
a lot of
least the
people have been
level.
caught. To a certain degree, you have, if you're saying to somebody before you go married that, if your dad and I and we get married and we're talking and I tell you something, whose side will you take? And I say my daddy, then you understand that,
That is, girl.
you understand that this might be an issue. All right.
Yeah,
And
but
yeah, sorry.
you see, in this aspect here, a lot of people will tell you, "Oh, I'll be on your side. I'll do like this." People can sweet match when the text have not been given. They can sweet match and say everything, but when the text actually has been given, you will see they will do the other way around. That's how I've seen it. They will
That's
do the
also
other
true.
way around.
That's also true.
They'll
That
do the other way
you're
around.
right. You're right. Some people do that, but you know what? Anybody that does that kind of thing, obviously, is self-harming
Yeah, that's right.
without realizing it. They're self-harming because I don't think anybody wants to go into a relationship that will break and have kids in that relationship and be so invested for it not to work. That would have been foolishness, to be lying and not being honest.
Honest.
Ultimately, people do it, but it ends up hurting everyone,
Not
even with the
ideal,
children.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not ideal, even the children involved.
Say,
So it's not easy because even me, I saw where my
thank you for a lot
stepmom
of good things. Thank
was
you so much.
pressuring.
I'm rounding up now, anyways.
Okay, she was pressuring my dad that our own kids have to go to private school, and my dad was saying no. This other one that I have, I did not train them in private school. They are still in public school and they are doing fine. Why bringing this in up? My father tried to talk. This woman refused. Insuma refused. My father talked to family members to explain, say, listen, I have these children, they are even grown, but that finance is not there to push everybody at a go in private school. So why should I take only yours in private school and leave this rest? The woman did not agree. You see, protecting her own opinion there. My father tried. And then my father, okay, for peace to reign, my father pushed those ones to private school. And at the end of the day, they did not last about 2 semesters. The father exhausted all the money and they now draw back again to public school to us. And that is when we now rebel. That is when we now say, no, this is not wrong. When I say you have exhausted this our father money, and I see that is when my father say, okay, that's when my father take a drastic decision. But sometimes the other party want to give in to see if there will be a resolution, but the other party at the other end is not receiving. So it makes communication difficult. So if we keep hitting on communication, you have communicated, but the next person is not responding, is not communicating back. You get confused.
It's complicated,
Yeah,
really.
it get complicated.
It
Yeah,
is.
I do understand. Thanks for that. Being open, being honest in our relationship is very crucial because, I mean, why deception? Why we need to be open and honest because otherwise everything we do has consequences. And at the end of the day, it might not just be us alone suffering that consequence. Other people, we're going to drag them into it. So we need to be open and honest in our relationships. And that's why I said when people are courting, when they're dating, those are things they need to kind of be throwing into the air. Just be talking about it, sample each other's opinion, just out of the blues, apart from going for premarital counseling or what have you. And not everybody gets to go for premarital counseling. So if you're the one getting to know each other and all of, what do you talk about these days? I don't know. I've been out of the market for so long. Pardon me. So I try to hear, from youngsters this day. I think last year I was sharing, this young man I met at a friend's party was sharing that his heart has been broken 3 times because these people are not trustworthy, this and that. They will say one thing, another thing, or they will pretend, but it's money. Once they see he doesn't have money, they will go and all that. See, this lack of honesty is destroying a lot of things. And like I always say, for marriage now, God said everything he created is good. Everything God created is good, including marriage. Marriage is God's institution, and if we're not seeing that goodness or we're not experiencing it, we need to check ourselves. That means I'm not doing what I'm meant to be doing, my husband is not doing what he's meant to be doing, or we both are not doing what we're meant to be doing in order to see this goodness, God's intention of marriage. If God knew it wasn't going to work, he wouldn't create it. If God knew that Jesus wouldn't bring salvation, he wouldn't ask him to come and die for no reason. So we have to self-reflect and talk about these things with our spouses. Like Onoye said, sometimes we may have to take a step back and calm down or let the situation calm a bit, but we need to still revisit it because it's not going to go away. Rather, it might even get bigger, and we don't want that. So we need to learn to be respectful, to be open and honest with one another. We need to trust one another, and if the trust has been broken, give your spouse some time to recover. Give them time to heal. Give them time to go through that process. Don't rush them because you're meant to be in this journey forever together. So give them time to heal and process the whole thing, and then sit down and talk about things. How did we get here? How did this happen? Because you may be faced with that challenge again, and the same thing might happen if you don't constructively talk about it and find solutions, ways, of avoiding it altogether or allowing it to come back. So I know we can go until tomorrow talking about this topic, but I want to believe that we've exhausted at least almost 2.5 hours of our time to discussing this today. And I want to believe everyone has taken home something, if not everything, today. And like I always say, my prayer is that we will enjoy our marriages and not endure whatever pride that is bringing conflict. May God let us let it go so that there will be peace in our homes. Laura, I see you. Thanks for joining. Thank you, lover of good things. God bless you, sir. I really appreciate it. Emmy, love, God bless you. God bless you. Onoye, thank you so much, brother. God bless you for joining today. And TJ, my brother, he's gone. Thank you for your time today. I can't believe you even stayed that long. Thank you so much. And other people who joined and said one or two things. God's love, I think. God bless you. And I hope to see you on Monday, 6 p.m. UK time, where we'll be talking about general talks that affect us in our daily living. And we'll look for strategies and ways to cope so that we can live a better life, physically, emotionally, mentally, all aspects of our lives by the grace of God. So guys, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful night rest. Enjoy the weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, Onoye. I see you. Good night, Emmy. Love. Thank you. Thank you, lover of good things. Thank you. Have a wonderful night rest.